Union Jacks everywhere. Giant banners of the Queen. God Save the King echoing through conference halls. Ministers clutching St. George's flags like political props. And standing at the center of it all, wrapped in symbols he once despised, is Keir Starmer, the man who spent years in a party that mocked patriotism, sneered at flag waving, and treated British pride as something embarrassing. This isn't evolution. This is hijacking. In a strategy first devised in 2021, Starmer has sought to reclaim the flag as part of a deliberate attempt to woo back working-class voters who had deserted the party. And what makes this absolutely stunning is how completely, shamelessly, cynically he's transformed Labour from a party embarrassed by the flag into one that drowns itself in it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this isn't patriotism, it's performance art. Stay with me, because the evidence of this calculated hijacking is more damning than you imagine. Let's go back to what Labour actually was before Starmer's cynical makeover. For decades, Labour had a complicated, often hostile relationship with British patriotism. Under Jeremy Corbyn's leadership, the party became synonymous with anti-patriotism. Sir Keir has attempted to transform the perception of the Labour Party after voters saw Jeremy Corbyn as lacking in patriotism. Corbyn refused to sing the national anthem. He questioned Britain's role in NATO. He surrounded himself with advisors who openly despised British institutions. But it wasn't just Corbyn. This was decades of Labour culture. The party's activists, its members, its intellectual class. They viewed patriotism as something vulgar, something associated with the far right, something to be ashamed of. Labour activists took to social media to decry Keir Starmer on the strategy, asking why the Labour leader was suddenly embracing flags they had spent years mocking. Because to them, patriotism wasn't a virtue, it was a problem. And Starmer? He was part of that culture. He rose through Labour during those decades. He accepted its anti-patriotic orthodoxy. He never once stood up and said, actually, we should love our country, until he needed votes. Then came the 2019 election disaster. Labour was crushed. Working-class voters in the North and Midlands, Labour's traditional base, abandoned the party in droves. They voted Conservative. They voted Brexit Party. They voted for anyone except Labour. And pollsters delivered the brutal message. Voters thought Labour hated Britain. They thought the party was embarrassed by British culture, British history, British identity. And they were right. So Starmer weighed a calculation. If he wanted power, he had to transform Labour's image completely. And that meant hijacking the very patriotism his party had mocked for decades. In a strategy first devised in 2021, Starmer has sought to reclaim the flag as part of a deliberate attempt to woo back working-class voters. Notice that word, strategy. This wasn't organic. This wasn't sincere. This was a calculated political operation designed to rebrand Labour as patriotic. Suddenly, Union Jacks appeared everywhere. Labour campaign materials, previously featuring red roses and progressive imagery, were dominated by flags. Over his 5 years as Labour leader, Starmer has repeatedly used the Union flag as a backdrop. Conference stages that once featured socialist slogans now displayed massive Union Jacks. Press events that once emphasized policy now emphasized patriotic symbolism. Every photo op, every video, every campaign poster. Flags, flags, flags. Labour ministers were spotted clutching Union Jacks and St. George's flags like they were running for office in the most conservative constituencies in England, which, of course, they were. But here's what the mainstream media didn't want to report. Labour's own activists were horrified by this transformation. Labour members have been left far from convinced by Sir Keir Starmer's patriotic push as the closing rendition of the red flag came out trumps against patriotic anthems. When given the choice between singing God Save the King or the socialist anthem The Red Flag, members chose socialism over patriotism. Social media exploded with internal Labour criticism. Longtime members asked why their party was suddenly embracing symbolism they'd always rejected. Activists who'd spent years arguing that patriotism was xenophobic were now being told to wave flags and sing national anthems. The deranged backlash from some labor activists suggests that not everyone agrees with Starmer's patriotic performance, because they understood what it really was: cynicism disguised as conviction. These weren't patriots suddenly discovering love of country. These were political operatives following electoral strategy, wrapping themselves in flags because focus groups said it would win votes. But Starmer didn't stop at flags. He went full patriotic spectacle in ways that would have been unthinkable just years earlier. Asked if he is supportive of people who put up English flags, the spokesman said, "Absolutely. Patriotism, putting up English flags. We put up English flags all around Downing Street every time the English football team are out." Think about that. Labour, the party that for decades viewed flag-waving as embarrassing nationalism, was now decorating Downing Street with English flags for football matches. Sir Keir Starmer is plotting to reclaim the flag from the far right after activists raised patriotic banners across the country. Reclaim the flag, as if Labour ever owned it, as if the party that spent decades mocking patriotism had any claim to national symbols. The Prime Minister is expected to bid to reclaim the flag from the far right in his final address before the Labour Party conference. This was the peak of the hijacking, positioning Labour as the true patriots, claiming conservative and reform voters had somehow stolen patriotism from them. The audacity was breathtaking. A party embarrassed by flags for decades was now claiming it represented true patriotism. But here's what exposes this as pure hijacking rather than genuine patriotism. It's all symbols with no substance. Starmer waves flags, he decorates stages with Union Jacks, he sings national anthems. But what has he actually done for Britain? His government is the most unpopular in modern history. His policies have failed. His leadership has been catastrophic. The flags are there to distract from failure. The patriotic performance is designed to hide that he has no idea how to actually govern in Britain's interests. Real patriotism isn't about symbols. It's about policies that strengthen the nation, decisions that benefit citizens, leadership that makes Britain stronger. Starmer offers none of that. He offers Union Jacks and nothing else. What is problematic is that his brand of patriotism does not sit easily with the party's values. Because it's not real patriotism. It's electoral strategy wrapped in a flag. So, here's what this transformation really reveals. Keir Starmer doesn't believe in anything except winning elections. He was part of a party culture that mocked patriotism when that was fashionable among labor elites. Now he wraps himself in flags because that's fashionable among voters. The Union Jacks, the Monarchy images, the national anthems, none of it reflects genuine feeling. All of it reflects focus group data telling him this is what he needs to do to win. He hijacked patriotism not because he loves Britain, but because he loves power. And British patriotic symbolism is the vehicle to get him there. Union Jacks everywhere, ministers clutching flags, conference halls draped in national symbols. And at the center of it all, Keir Starmer, the man who rose through a party that despised patriotism, now performing patriotism like his career depends on it. Because it does. This isn't love of country. This is political calculation. This isn't genuine transformation. This is cynical hijacking. Starmer took symbols he once dismissed, wrapped himself in them, and now claims to represent the very patriotism his party mocked for decades. While that grassroots campaign out of cynicism and rational necessity, that's exactly what this is. Cynicism and necessity, disguised as patriotism. The flags are fake, the anthems are performance, and the man holding them never believed in any of it. He just believes in winning. What do you think? Is Starmer's patriotic transformation genuine or the most cynical hijacking of national symbols in modern British politics? Share your thoughts below because this matters. When leaders fake patriotism for votes, they cheapen the real thing. If this video exposed Starmer's fake flag waving, share it everywhere because voters deserve to know the Union Jacks are props, the anthems are performance, and the man holding them never believed in any of it. He just believes in winning.